gamers, and welcome back to our top 100. This is now our top 20 to 11, where one of us will die.
Wait, what?
Yep.
How are we doing the top 10?
It'll be after that. That will be the finale.
This is the top 20 games of all time from the three of us,
of
obviously.
All time.
Of us. But yeah, we did a whole bunch of these videos already. You can check them out. There's 8 other videos you can check out on the channel. They aren't that informative. They're just our opinions.
This is actually not the top 20. This is the top 20 to 11. You'll have to see later the top 10.
Those 8 videos are immensely entertaining in my opinion, even if you won't learn anything new whatsoever. But you might find a new game or two that's worth picking up, especially if the three of us agree that it's an excellent game, which is even cooler. But with that,
check out the playlist that is probably not below.
And over the course of the last 5 days in which we've been filming this, Alex and I have not changed our shirts at all because we are heathens.
Oh, you know.
You realizing you chose the wrong shirt for the wrong list?
Yeah.
Well, that's a screw up.
I always send
I guess
rules
I'm wearing
of,
the same shirt twice in a row.
Starting off with that, my shirt is actually for my number 20 game because my shirt is black and Zombicide Black Plague is my number 20.
That's more like heather gray.
Zombicide Heather Gray
it's definitely not
is in
black.
my top 20.
It's definitely not black.
I'm trying to work the best Zombicide Black Plague is my top 20 game of all time. And fun fact, we're going to share a spot here with a game. If you watched the last episode, 2 episodes ago, you'll know this. But I'm going to share the spot with Zombicide Undead or Alive because Zombicide Undead or Alive has absolutely grown into my...
That's crazy.
I'm not actually saying I'm ranking them together.
It's because there's a Meg in that game.
There is a Meg in that game. That's exactly why I like it, because there's a Meg in that game. That's my
reason.
There
really is.
Can we discuss the finickiness of his language use? He's like, I'm not putting them together. I'm not ranking them together.
But they are together.
They are sharing the same spot.
Because, well, if you followed, it's because Zombicide Undead or Alive was added to my list after we started it and made this top 100.
Can I just say while we're discussing things during
Absolutely.
Alex's game, when I was sitting here and you were sitting there with these lights, your eyelashes are so long.
They are long.
They are beautiful.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm a little jealous.
Thank you.
You're
Amber's
welcome.
also jealous.
Yeah, very, very long eyelashes on this man.
In any case, Zombicide Black Plague is one that has, for those of you who've been watching long enough, you're like, it's out of his top 10. I think it was out of my top 10 last year too, actually. But I think it was like 13 last year, and it's dropped to like 20. It's not as bad. It's still amazing, but
Time to get rid of it.
Exactly, it's gone. It's gone.
Burn
There's
it
other
to the
games
ground.
that
I've
are
got it
amazing.
right there.
There's other games that are amazing. There's other games that are coming that are amazing. Marvel Zombies will definitely be there, but
But
Zombicide
they're
Black
not
Plague.
sharing the spot.
No, probably not.
No.
They're different enough. I like that. They deserve their own spots in this list. I'll do that.
I'm so sorry we've derailed literally your first game.
I don't care. This is making an entertaining video.
This is the begin. These 20. This is where Alex starts to hate me. It's like these 20.
But Zombicide Black Plague, you're controlling 6 different survivors amongst the players at the table, and you're using those to just slaughter zombies as you level up, as things get thrown your way. It is hard, it is brutal, it is difficult, it is overwhelming. You have tons of character variety, you have tons of abomination variety, you have a bunch of missions to go through, you have expansions that mix in different things that I really enjoy. I particularly enjoy Wolfsburg and the towers in Wolfsburg. I enjoy the wolves in Wolfsburg. Those things are brutal. I enjoy the Deadeye Walkers.
Overwhelming.
There's overwhelming. That's the right word. I think that one too. That's a good word. It's a good choice. Good choice.
Yeah. It's also overwhelming.
It is overwhelming.
I would say brutal too.
I think it's brutal. I think it's brutal. Zombicide Black Plague, my number 20 game of all time. I love it. Still.
They see me trolling. They hate him.
You're coming 20 back.
My number 20?
Yeah, still.
Okay, so my number 20 is one of the games that I have
Sentinels
been...
of Multiverse? That'd be a good shirt. Be a great shirt for Sentinels of Multiverse.
Give me the sword back.
No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, hard pass.
I'm gonna find the cheese there. My number 20 is a game that I absolutely love that I discovered this year that I have been obsessed with. It has been my airplane game. And before
Rolling Round.
Okay, well, everyone knows. But, Devin, you've named a lot of Stonemaier games. And I haven't played a ton of Stonemaier games. But I have some approximate knowledge of Stonemaier games because of Rolling Realms.
There's pumpkins in them.
Right. Like you said tapestry and building things, and I'm like, I know tapestry because you just fill in these shapes. I love Rolling Realms. It is so delightful. You have these different worlds that are all Stonemaier games, and now there are expansions that are some non-Stonemaier games. But you are going through 3 sets of 3, so 9 different worlds, and each set of 3 is when you're rolling dice. You're rolling 18 dice, and you're allocating them in different places. Everyone's playing the exact same worlds, the same numbers, and you are just trying to place them in the most optimal way, and it is a delight. And the mini golf, the solo version, is amazing.
Sorry, I caught it. I actually caught it. There's club.
Yeah, I agree. I particularly enjoy. I think we both agree on this one. The mini golf is the main compelling aspect of it.
Yeah,
100%.
Solo.
100%.
Yeah, I've been playing on airplanes that I have a little wristlet if it's all the cards in it. The only change I made is that I've been playing with metal dice because those are easier to not roll off the tray in an airplane. But it is so easy to just take with you anywhere.
I had it in '96.
This trip, I learned that rolling dice on an airplane, the biggest issue is if they fall off on the floor, you're in trouble.
Yeah, metal dice are great for that because they just...
Yeah. Devon?
My 20 is the result of last video's manual massage, and it is Land versus Sea. This is a game that I think is absolutely superb. It is one of the most unique titles in the fact that it is like a different game at 2, 3, and 4 players. Yes. But all of them are exceptional, and I think 2 and 3 players are the best. I think that 4 is fun because it's a little bit more accessible player count sometimes if you have like a couple or something that comes over to play. Sometimes 4 is just easier for me to table than 3. But... It is delightful. I think that Good Games Publishing did a really good job with it. It to me, it's like a Carcassonne killer. I think that if enough people get access to it, I think it's going to be an evergreen for them in terms of what it does. And yeah, I really like Land vs. Sea. You can play it casually in terms of not having some of the optional scoring elements in. Yeah. And then once people understand kind of the visual puzzle of it and some of the strategy, then you can play with maybe the like harder variant of scoring. And it's so clever. The 3-player is a really unique setup with the cartographer. Like you're kind of sit between both land and sea as the 2 different other player factions, and you're trying to kind of like play a completely different game than they're playing. And it's really, really cool. I like it a lot. Super love it.
Haven't played it yet.
I'm going to shut that door. It's very echoey.
I was going to ask if that should have been shut.
While he shuts the door, I will echo out my number 19, which is a game that I'm pretty sure...
19.
I'm pretty sure neither of you have played it. It's another one of those Euros. I have a lot of these Euros in the top tiers over there. But we have Coimbra. Coimbra. Have you played it?
No, that's another one, though, that I've always adjacently seen and heard.
I like Coimbra a lot. It's from those trios of designers of, who've done a bunch of these games like Solkin and Lorenzo and all these other things. And to me, Coimbra is, I think, my favorite one. I have to look at my list, but I think it's my favorite one over here. It just has interweaving mechanisms in this board that you're trying to use dice allocation to be able to try to reserve certain cards that will go into your engine across 4 rounds of play, and then being mindful of different tracks that you're moving up. You have guards, you have coins, you're leaning into different factions over here. Do you want to be moving more on the center board? There's coins, Meg. There's coins.
Wow.
They're abstractive. They're not physical. You have a little track.
Oh,
I knew you'd be disappointed. But you do have all these currencies. You have the dice. The dice are going to be assigned to different little crowns they get slotted into, and that's going to determine what faction you get influence in. I just really enjoyed the interweaving mechanisms of the game. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Nice. 19. What's your 19?
I don't know.
Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Number 19 is a game that has been mentioned by one of us and not yet by the other one of us because it will be mentioned by him later.
Cthulhu Death May Die.
Cthulhu Death May Die. Fantastic game. Absolutely love it.
Nice.
We talked about it last video.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the only thing I'll add is with your player boards, it's so much fun both gaining the madness and having that make you more powerful. 2 videos ago?
2 videos ago.
As you gain madness, you get more powerful, but you also are going mad, so it's also like increasingly more dangerous for you to keep going down that track, but then you're able to upgrade different abilities, and it is just so well done for as someone who loves like the Lovecraft world and all of those games. I have a lot of Cthulhu games in my top games, and it just does it so well. I love that playing with the madness part of it. It's really, really well done.
I think one of the things that I didn't mention when I was talking about it that was new to my second play with you guys that I also really loved because it, again, incentivizes you to like kind of go a little bit more crazy, but then also really further pushes you into a unique play style versus the other players are those artifacts that like
those are new.
Start off giving you something, and then when you get to a certain point, they flip and are like a hardcore.
They're called relics. They're new to the Fear of the Unknown, and I like them a lot.
Those
and shout
so
out to how thematic they are because what it is, I think you had a statue. someone had a statue, and at first, even the artwork of it is like just kind of like a faceless statue, where you're like, hey, I found this thing, it kind of does stuff, and then as you're going more mad and you flip the card over, it's more detailed, and then it's like, yeah, it's a named statue, and it's like the thing has probably been talking to you.
Alex had the Necronomicon.
Yeah, it's like it's an old book, and you're like, oh, an old book, this is cool, this will help me, and you go insane. He's like, it's the Necronomicon. I can't say it.
Necronomicon.
Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon.
The Necrodecepticon.
I choose you, Necronomicon!
Autobots, attack!
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, I love that part of the theme, that it really does, it really plays really well into the, you're doing it, but you're really understanding what these things are all around you.
19 for me is Railroad Inc. I love Railroad Inc. It is... to me, if I was going to have an airplane game, it would be my airplane game.
It's a good airplane game. It actually is. I've traveled with that.
It's such a fun little title. I have the collector's edition, which I think is good because it allows you to get all of the different expansions, which is what I like. But then the red and the...
It's like really, that box too is solid.
I was going to say, do you have a difficult time using it at all?
No, I don't have a difficult time at all with that. It's interesting. I do think some people have complained about getting stuff out of that box.
Yeah, it could be a user error.
It could be user error. But so the green and the yellow versions particularly are the ones that instituted the challenge method, and I like the challenge method more because it's got the buildings that are on there. The blue and the red just have kind of a blank map that you're working with on those connections, but I like having the factories that duplicate a die and the universities that allow you to get the extra bonus, and then the villages that you put the town station on. So... yeah, to me, it's my favorite roll and write, and I have just had a lot of fun, and I want to explore more of the expansions.
It's awesome. Some of those little small mini things you talked about, they sound very compelling.
Yeah, the underground one where you literally have a second board that I told him, I don't know if I told you, but like you're playing two boards simultaneously, and the expansion dice are actually water pipes and underground like subways that you're doing, and you want them to be doing the same connections. Instead of highways, it's the waterways, and instead of the railways, it's the subway. But if you ever like build on top of existing water pipes, it like cracks them. And then for the subways, you get more points if you put them. If you put subway stations on the same spot that you have top stations at, because it's like a metro access and stuff. So it was so cool, but it was like way more thinky, and I liked it a lot. So Railroad Inc. is 19 for me.
I think when I learned that one, I didn't. I wasn't in a proper place to learn rules that night.
It was late.
Yeah.
It was very late.
I enjoyed it, but I want to enjoy it more. And it was one of those ones when we were scoring it at the end that I was like, I didn't do this right at all.
It's okay. It's all right.
Next time.
You just guys got to listen to me when you're building forests. 100%. Okay.
Devon. 18. What's your number 18?
18 for me is a title that I recently got access to, thankfully through Alex, but I have played a couple times now, and I adore it. And it is a Reiner Knizia title.
No, not Reiner Knizia. What's that?
And it is, I wouldn't say party game, but it's definitely more of like a social experience.
A Reiner Knizia social experience?
Pretty sure it's Reiner Knizia.
Oh. I don't think he does social experiences.
Modern art?
It's a social experience. Ish.
That was amazing. That was awesome.
Ish. Your immediate concession was priceless. So it's a bidding game, and you are investing in the artworks of different artists, and you have 3 different rounds, I think, and over the course of those rounds, whenever you get to 4 of one artist's artwork out there by the different bidding systems that go around, it ranks whoever has the most artworks out on the board. And though they get $30, $20, and $10. But then the next round, you do that again.
That's not that much for art.
I know, but then as the rounds progress, if one artist had 30 and the next round they popped up and they had 20, that round, their artwork is worth 50, and then it's worth even more and even more. But some of the joy of the game is...
The art has gone down with digital AI art coming out.
AI art, yeah. So part of the joy for it of me is that like tension between trying to decide, does it actually make more sense to follow the demand of the art and pay for it, or be the one trying to push the demand and sell it? And I have the second game I did way better than the first game in terms of the amount of money I got. But both games, I lost horribly compared to what everybody else did. And I had so much fun. Like, it is just such a delightful, like, atmosphere where you're really trying to, like, create a narrative. And you're like, no, guys, I swear, like, Manuel Cervantes, his works have really been underappreciated. And I think that together, like, collectively, as art appreciators and, like, collectors, we should really, like, do something to, like, honor, like, his contribution to the art field. And, like, you're trying to, like, just shit talk your way through people.
Yeah, the social experience is interesting because you do have to really know the players and when they're going to try to follow something in play versus when they'll be able to be led by your certainty. Like, there is a little bit degree of just messing around. If you follow too much, you're always just following, you'll never lead.
Yeah.
You have to do a little bit of following, a little bit of leading, and through the mix of them,
I've just had so much fun with it. So that's my 18 is modern art. What about you guys?
My 18, I kind of slipped of the tongue as I was like, Castle of Burgundy? My number 18 is Castle of Burgundy.
Is it really?
It is. I was like, why is that in my mind? Because I'm ready to go. It's a Stefan Feld title, and it's actually seen a big drop for me last year. Last year, I think it was my number 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It might have been my number 2. And there's no particular reason. I just haven't really played it a lot this past year, and I don't have a specific reason or this, that. It's still high. It's still very high. But when I was ranking this list, it just got a little lower. But Castle Burgundy by Stefan Feld, still this day, I mentioned earlier in the video, earlier in 7 videos ago, that 7 Wonders was one of the 2 games left in my collection from when I first started.
Then.
Castle Burgundy is the second game that has lasted for 12 years in my collection.
Wow.
It's one of the longest standing games. So again, the fact that it's still number 18 with 2? 18. The fact that it's 18 after 12 years should say something. That it just continues to hold up as far as giving me an experience where you roll dice, and it's not about high or low, or it's about where you assign them to gather the right tiles, to put them into your city in different ways, try to figure out the puzzle and combination of different things you're going through. Are you going through a bunch of farm animals, building those up? Do you want all the buildings and all the abilities they provide? Do you want some science to really give you a little bit of competitive edge over your opponents? Building out those boats will give you trade goods and let you go first. You're trying to find the various pathways. The mines will give you recurring income every round. Castle will give you free actions. You're trying to combine everything together to build out the best possible city. Combine that with a bunch of expansions, and the new Awakened Realms version of it also has the new Vineyards expansion, which I have not played with all yet. It's just a game that continues to hold up. It's my favorite Stefan Feld game 12 years later.
Do you think when you get the super nice Awakened Realms version of it that it might
go higher?
Pop back
I
up? Don't
know. So and I've talked about this a lot already. I think that the art I already like more, so I'm fine with that. The production of all the miniatures and all that stuff, it depends on whether it adds to the gameplay or gets in the way. Because effectively
like
you have
Imperium with the upgrade,
So Foundations of Rome, it adds to the gameplay straight up. But in Castle of Burgundy, you're gonna have to grab the tile and then basically earn the tile and then find the matching miniature, which means your board will look incredible, but you're adding tediousness to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Is that worth it? I'll let you know when I play.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Alex showed me this game, and it's still so funny to me, because you asked if I'd played Castles of Burgundy, and I was like, I played between 2 castles of Mad King Ludwig.
The Stonemaier tile? Yeah.
I was like,
I've said that to him before as well, and he was
so
like,
funny.
stop. He's like, don't talk to me anymore.
No, it's like, it's good. It's not the same. Not the same.
Because that's between 2 cities, and Castles of Mad King Ludwig. It's not at all
and I got, like...
Castles of Burgundy.
But they have the word castles in them, so they're basically identical.
They must be the same.
Was that? It's like Bruges, for example, the other Stefan Feld game I mentioned, which is exactly like the movie.
Yeah, it's like Gloomhaven and Gloom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Very similar.
You were way more excited about that than I thought.
That's my number.
What's your 18?
Your 18.
My number 18. I was going to follow up on Devon's, but then you just went right away. Mine is also an art game.
Ooh, wait. An art
Canvas?
game?
No, it's not how you guys think. You're making art instead.
You're making art instead.
It's Cartographers.
It's Cartographers. I love Cartographers. It's one of my favorite things is if anyone enjoys Cartographers, get yourself some highlighters that are different colors. Get yourself some colored pens. Highlight in the square and then draw the little shape. It makes the game so beautiful and so fun. It takes twice as long, but it's definitely worth it.
I got rid of Cartographers based on the plain, just drawing things in with the same color ink.
Yeah,
and then
it
someone's like,
doesn't
why
look
don't
good.
you use colored pencils? And I was like, I'm keeping Cartographers.
Yeah, I love Cartographers. So all it is it's a flip and write. You play through 4 different seasons, and you are filling out a 11 by 11 grid map. I think it's 11 because just from the scoring from that one with the trees. I've played this one a lot.
I was going to say, this is not a me answer. I'm like, I know the game, not like you.
Have you played? Yes.
I played Cartographers Heroes. I've not played
Same
the
basic
base
game.
one.
Same, yeah, basically the same. It just adds heroes. But yeah, it is an absolutely fun time. It's another very quick one, another airplane game, a traveling game. It's also one that you can play with as many people as possible. I think it says 1 to 99 or 1 to 100 because that's how many sheets there are. So you can play with a ton of people, and yeah, it's just delightful.
Nice.
Oh, so fun. Game. So good.
What's your 17?
What is my 17?
Is it Sentinels of the Multiverse?
Stop it.
My number 17 is Sentinels of the Multiverse.
No, it's not.
My number 17 is, and you guys may be able to guess this based on the things that I say, it is a Fantasy Flight title. It is an LCG.
Arkham Horror the card game.
It is Arkham Horror the card game. Only because I've said the other two. So this one is my highest ranking Fantasy Flight card game. Ooh, Arkham Horror the card game is so much fun. It's one where you're playing through different campaigns. Right now I'm playing through the Dunwich campaign. I'm playing as Mark Harrigan, but I'm calling him Meg Harrigan. And he's like a bruiser where he's just doing a ton of like damage, which I love.
That's your thing? You like damage?
Oh, I just want to kill everything, even when you don't have to.
Give her the sword.
Give me the sword.
No.
But the
therapy's fine too.
Sword's cheaper.
Yeah.
I can just kill things.
But something that I've really noticed with Arkham Horror the card game that I love is that it's very thematic, it's walking you through a story, but the game remembers. It has you do different choices that even scenarios later,
like
it'll say... It really does.
She's like, you were joking, I'm not.
It knows what you did. Where there's
summer.
even like a part where you can stop and have drinks, and then like a scenario later, it's like, well, if you stop to have drinks, now everything's worse.
That's a good moral lesson for life.
Yeah.
Sounds accurate.
But yeah, I think for all the campaign games I've had, this is one that does that so well, that really makes you feel the weight of your choices, not just in the scenario, but after the scenario, to feel it multiple scenarios later. It is just so well done. Really, really fun.
I read through the whole thing. I was like, what pen do you have on here? It's like the signs of a stroke or something. Yeah. This is a pen that if you click it, it shows you different signs of a stroke. And the first time I read it, I was like, this is a dark pen. And then I kept reading. I was like, oh, this is a helpful pen. It just seems
Oh, this is a helpful pen.
This is what happens when your wife and mother-in-law both work at a hospital.
Yeah. My number 17 is one that's been mentioned already, at least once, possibly twice. I don't think you mentioned it. It's a cooperative experience. One of the better cooperative experiences out there, with lots of powers and abilities, it's Spirit Island.
And it's Spirit Island.
And Spirit
Island. Watching you deflate when it's guessed before you get to finish.
No. I just kept on slowly adding things in. I was waiting for it to be guessed.
Yeah.
Did you put it in your top 100?
No.
So
I don't love it.
Yeah, I knew that you're not like...
Spirit Island is...
You're not cool as Spirit Island.
It's a great game. Like, when you did that whole breathe in of like, oh my gosh... When you play Spirit Island, when you had it in your top whatever last list, and you breathed in, you're like, oh, it's so good. And then you said Spirit Island, I was like, yes, it is so good. In fact, it's better than you have it. It's better. It's number 17
better than
for
you
me.
know.
I don't
okay,
think
but
I put it
hello,
on there.
Alex. You haven't played with any of the expansions, and I have.
True, I have. So first of all, shouldn't yours be higher then?
Have you played with the all expansions I have?
Shouldn't it be higher then?
Yeah.
How would you know if you haven't played
Have
them?
the expansions made it worse for you?
I'm not saying.
Because you don't like the fact that
she
it's
charged into this.
She's like, oh, I'm surrounded. General Custer.
I have played with
surrounded all
I have
sides.
since played with the Branch and Claw expansion, and it really adds. I don't see a reason to ever go back from it. It just adds fun extra
Good
things
for
to
you.
manage. Yeah, thank you. Let's try to focus on
I'm proud
that
of you.
instead of anything else now. I love Spirit Island. I think it's fantastic. It's been in my top 20. I think 3 years in a row now. It gives you such a fun puzzle of both a solo experience and a cooperative experience with tons of powers and abilities as you choose spirits with the most amazing names like, Shifting Sands of Ember Seas or something like that. That could be a spirit name. It's not. I'm pretty sure it's not. I don't know. But anyways, you
Check
have
out
these...
the 2023
I
expansion.
haven't played a lot of expansions. But there's a lot of spirits, all of them giving you like unique little twists to it, and then you build those out with just the tons of cards that the game has, and those cards are going to get more variable as you add in the Branch and Claw expansion, which adds events, which just keep the game shifting, as well as these tokens on the board, which is just more fun to manipulate, just moving those little tiger tokens around, and just like snatching up and killing all the horrible bad people invading.
Get rid of those colonizers.
Get rid of those colonizers.
Get out of my island.
Exactly. Do all those things. I love Spirit Island. It is... I wish
You're
the
like the
components...
Clint Eastwood of islands.
That's what I'm talking about. I wish some of the components were better.
Get off.
I love the Dohan.
The
little
Han are great.
wooden-
The Han are
yeah.
great. I hate the invaders.
Have you seen them painted?
No. I hate the invaders unpainted. They just seem like so out of touch with the rest of the quality of the game.
If you guys like Spirit Island, just like look up the painted ones. They're very simple to paint that you can like quickly go through the whole thing. You're going to want to do it.
Maybe. That's Spirit Island. My 17.
Nice. Have you done your 17?
Yes.
Yeah, I can do my 16 though.
My 17.
Oh, never. Oh my God, Devon.
Is a title that I think was about 14 higher on your list, or 14 lower on your list.
Brass Birmingham.
It was Brass Birmingham.
There's only like a title to you actually remember where it was.
Yeah. So, I love Brass. It's so good.
Not enough of it's number 17.
I liked Lancashire too. There's sometimes when I don't have as much basement or storage space as either of them in my house, and so it is very much if I have a game
storage space commitment.
That's probably fair. That's probably fair. But yeah, I didn't feel the need to keep Lancashire. There are elements I did miss, the ports and the ships, and there are some elements of Brass that are maybe like a little bit more fiddly than Lancashire, just because it adds some elements on there. But Brass Birmingham is such a good game, such a good title. Martin Wallace. Hats off to you. Roxley, of course, your productions are always
insane.
So fun.
Ridiculous.
I really enjoyed it.
So that's my 17.
Do 16 now, Devon, because I skipped you by accident.
I'm going to snake into the first of things that Alex will be upset about, and this is...
Ooh, nope, I know.
It is a title that isn't even out yet.
Oh.
Vampire the Masquerade Chapters. So this is a upcoming game from Flyos. It is set in the World of Darkness Vampire the Masquerade setting, which was originally, or still is, a massively popular RPG world. And this is probably, out of all of the campaign things I have, this is the one that I think Amber would play all the way through with me, because she loves kind of like vampire stuff. A lot of the fantasy books she reads involve stuff like that. And so...
Sexy vampires.
Oh, yeah.
And they're hungry.
For just blood. So I can't wait to play this. I got to play a online implementation or like mod of it when it was in early stages. I've seen all of the growth that it's done. I really liked it then. I like the narrative complexity of it. It's got probably one of the largest branching narrative systems I've seen in any game.
Interesting.
The amount of choices where it's like, oh, you pick this, okay, you're going to resolve this, and like the choices that you could have.
She's like, I want to do this.
It's insane.
It made me think of how branching.
The role play.
Times that by 5 or 10.
Have you played role-play adventures?
I don't even need to know. I don't even need to know.
You said 5 or 10.
He doesn't need to know.
I can show you the amount of cards and the amount of dialogue that is. I can show you the Kickstarter.
I'll play both and let you know next year.
It is. I cannot wait for it. I think Amber's gonna have a really good time with it, and I had a blast when I tried it out 2 years ago.
Do the Vampire Sparkle.
Do the Vampire Sparkle.
Stay tuned to find out.
Oh, I just pooped my pants. I just gotta go. So.
You're going to have to finally change your clothes.
That's my 16. Vampire the Masquerade Chapters. Cannot wait for my big old copy to come in.
Alex, what is your 16?
My 16 is one of my favorite games, obviously. But to the point that I'm like, I feel it should be higher than it is, but I just don't know what to bump at this point.
Yeah.
It's Paris from Devere Games. This is one, I talked to you recently
at
PAX.
I asked you to play.
And I don't know if you've played it all or seen
not.
it.
Is this the one with like the... almost like Van Gogh coloring of like blue and yellow.
Yes, it is. It's
like
basically
City
a
of
polygon.
Lumiere, City of Lights, or whatever.
Paris la Cité de la Meilleure or something. I'm butchering that.
No, that was great. Do it again.
Paris la Cité de la Meilleure.
That actually.
It's the City of Lights.
In a falsetto though.
Paris la Cité de la Meilleure.
Aww. Aww.
All right, sorry. Keep talking.
Anyways, Paris from Devere Games is a 2-player polyomino head-to-head experience, and it's a 2-player polyomino head-to-head experience that is mean as anything. Mean. The whole entire game is about, you go through this 2 phases. The first phase is you each have your hand of tiles, and you're going to use that to build the map. The problem is, as you build the map, what you're effectively doing is you're putting down the areas. Each tile you have has your color, your opponent's color, and then the combined color of purple, which you can both place on. And so you go through this phase of placing down the tiles, and in doing so, you're effectively creating these areas that are naturally polyomino shaped in different ways, which is where you're trying to anticipate putting down buildings in the second phase of the game. But you're constructing a shared map, but your opponent and you are doing it at the same time. But on your turn, you either put down a tile to construct the map, or you grab a polyomino that is your polyomino to place. So you're kind of locking things in. You're like, I'll take the big L shape. It's an L shape, Meg. It's not a V. I'll take the big L shape, and I'll put it down onto the board. But the problem is, as you do that, your opponent might block the place you're trying to build to place it. Then you get to the second half. In the second half, you still have to take 2 actions. You either start placing your polyominoes down, and the problem is, even though you have your own color, there's also that shared color. So even though there's spots where I can only go and you can only go, there's spots that are purple we can both go, and that means there's still a fight to try to get to the purple spots first because of the way they intersect with the orange or blue in ways that will try to get your piece on the board before your opponent can, which is huge in the game because you also lose points on the pieces you can't place. Then you have to go through the fact that there's also these abilities in play that you start choosing between putting down a polyomino or taking an ability. The abilities are game breaking, and so you're constantly, the entire game in the first half and the second half is constantly being faced with too many choices and trying to figure out how you're going to help yourself and how you're going to completely screw over your opponent, because there's a lot of that in this game. There's a lot of just messing with them. You're like, oh, you thought you had a chain of buildings going up? Well, I just took that spot over there. I took this ability that's going to mess you over. It is
that sounds cool.
An incredible game, an absolutely incredible game. I love it. I'm sad that it's number 16.
16.
I'm sad that it's 16. That's
nice.
sad.
What are you sad about being 16?
I'm fine with this being number 16, actually. My number 16, which I'm surprised I ranked it so high, and again, I think that we've played it since then.
Interesting.
And I think I may have just a little bit lower, is Hoplomachus Victorum.
It dropped for you, right?
Yeah, a little bit, just a little.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm fine with it where it is. It was a game that we came in hot. We loved it. We were obsessed and playing so much. We played like late into the night, and then we played it a few times recently, and we've already gone over this. You had it much lower.
I had it like around 50 or so, which to me,
so around those.
Again, keep in mind, I say it dropped for me. Still like top 50 games of all time, but it's one that, and I wonder if it'll go higher or lower next year. It depends on the continued play of it. But it's one that, like you said, we walked in high and it's amazing, and I think it's too long in the arc that it gives.
I have Cloudspire below Hoplomachus. I think I would probably swap those now, having more time with them. Yeah. But yeah, it's absolutely great. I have a very good time with it. I love the campaign part of it, that you're progressively going through a story. I love coming back to games like that. But the thing that I said when we mentioned it earlier was it's starting to feel a bit static, where it's the same maps and you're stuck in these areas and you need to get out of it. That I wish you could jump around and do different maps at different times. I think that would help with it being like more variable. But yeah, I just had maybe a little too much time with it now, but I'm excited for us to get to the Scion and see how that feels.
Scion, so we played against Scion before. We did the Scion already, so we know it's a lot more.
Yeah, it feels like a slow burn.
Snake draft to the 15. What's your 15?
My number 15 is a game that I have loved since 2012.
Oh.
5 Tribes.
No. I already told you, 5 Tribes is like under...
That's true.
It's like 1 or 2 or something.
I don't remember very well, Meg. Since 2012.
Yep.
Lords of Waterdeep.
No. It is made by the man, the myth, the legend, Justin Gary.
Ascension.
It is Ascension.
Wow, it's high for you.
I am still obsessed with it. It's one that I play on my phone. It's probably, again, one of my most played games that I love. Ascension. It is a deck building game. I normally play it 2-player, like head to head. You can play, I think, up to 4.
Yeah.
But I usually play with 2. There's also, you're playing with an honor pool, where as you're playing, you're taking honor. And that's like your scoring for the end of the game plus the cards that you get. And I usually adjust it that I believe the regular game has you play to 60 and I normally play to 80. So I do even have like special rules that I play with Ascension. But gosh, that's a game that I can like bust out, not have to read anything, and just set up and play. It is classic deck building at its finest. Oh, it's so good.
Nice. I've never played it.
Better than Dominion.
Fine.
Alex is like, fine.
I can't argue.
It's a delightful game. Absolutely love it.
My 15 is another one that I want to show both of you, and it plays best for 3 in my opinion,
Show
too.
me.
Rurik Don of Kiev.
Aquatica.
Aquatica
from Arcane Wonders. From Arcane Wonders, and I think Cosmodrome, too. But Aquatica is I don't know how to describe this. It's a hand management game in which you have your hand of starting of characters, and you're going to be playing a card every turn. Every turn you play a card, and the card lets you do different things, but some of the things you're going to be doing are grabbing more cards. And I'm actually going to do a horrible job explaining this right now. The entire thing is you have a puzzle of cards that are these empires you're trying to conquer in the middle of the ocean. As you gather these empires, depending on which cards you play to get them, depending on what phase is going on, and you slot them into your own player board, and they give you these different benefits. And as you cash in these benefits, you're kind of sliding these rewards. The way the player boards are laid out, you're kind of sliding these rewards up into the player boards that will give you these additional bonuses. And you're trying to find the combination of your own little, I can't remember what they're called either, but the scuba diving things, the ray thingies. What's the fish? The ray
Manta
rays. Thank you. I couldn't remember.
Scuba diving.
I couldn't remember what they were. Yeah, I described it well.
The animals that scuba dive.
The manta rays. You can have manta rays, you're going to have these little player board things, and you're going to have your cars. You're trying to combine them in different ways to continue building your engine as much as possible across the course of the game. And if you have with the expansion, which I do recommend the expansion, the Cold Waters expansion, you're going for these goals up top, and you're trying to get these different goals that will either give you chunks of points for the end game, or in-game abilities, or sometimes a combination of both. And you're trying to get those sooner than other players, which will involve you giving up your manta rays. So there's a bit of a timing mechanism as to what you do when you do it. But I find it plays in like 35, 40 minutes, and it gives you such a rewarding experience for the 35, 40 minutes of gameplay. And it looks beautiful, teaches quickly, plays quickly. I love Aquatica.
Nice.
Yeah.
15 for me is a title that I believe deserves more attention and also deserves a player aid. And it's Black Rose Wars. I love Black Rose Wars.
Really?
That's one that's eluded me. It's another one that I want to see.
You would adore that game. You would have so much fun in that title. Like, I really do think it's a game that's up your alley. And I can't get over how much fun I had with that game. And Alex and some of the other people that I've showed, like, I don't think want to try it out anymore or play it as much anymore.
I think it's
kind of
excellent.
done with
It always feels like homework to get up and running again.
Yeah.
I don't like the homework feel.
There are certain titles that, like, there are hurdles to get them to the table, and I like them enough that I don't mind the hurdle, and that's one of them. Another one is like Twilight Imperium or something like that, something that takes effort to get to the table, but when it gets to the table, I think justifies the time spent just from the satisfaction. And if you're not familiar with Black Rose Wars, it is essentially like if Harry Potter students were like grad students in a very volatile academy and they could never die, but they were always trying to like knock the crap out of each other with spells and set traps for each other and like raise summons to like bring it around and also like, go after like little quests or objectives. And the whole time you're just like trying to play this really clever like programming of when to do something slow, when to do something fast, when to do a trap spell, when to do like a protective spell, when to do an attack. And you're like, I need to position myself to where I can get the right targeting scheme set up for like hitting them. It is an absolute blast. I think if you get that game with the right play group who know how to play and you can play it consistently, I think it's like a top 10 for me. If I could get to the point where I could table it that much. I
don't even disagree with that. To me, the issue, and I had, like, for instance, Root, which was my number 50 or something like that. Root is a game that I adore, but at one point I got rid of it because it was too much of a burden to table.
Yeah.
Once I had a consistent group playing it, it's my top 50.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree with where you're coming from at all. I think Black Rose Wars is fantastic. Right now, I just don't have the group that's going to consistently play it, and I think you do need 4 players.
Yep.
I want to play.
I'll play with you.
I want to play that one.
14 for me is a game that I probably have a more like ingrained connection with than most people, and that's Veiled Fate from IB Studios. I ended up doing the lore book for that, but I love social deduction games, but I also hate them in the sense that I find a lot of them don't have the mechanics to back up or prevent, I think, some of the problems of dealing with games where you're trying to bluff, you're trying to deceive, because I think it both favors people who talk the most and also like shuns the people that are a little bit quieter, and it also creates a lot of pressure in terms of like what you're lying about and why you're lying about it, and a lot of them, like the presentation of that conflict is very like in your face. And Veiled Fate is not that way. I think that it also, similar maybe to Land vs. Sea, has very different experiences depending on the player count. And I like kind of the chess-like moves that you have to do at 2 and 3 players in order to, set up the right bluffs and try to deduce what your opponent has. You are playing as kind of like external beings who are influencing the actions of demigods in the world, and you're trying to make sure that you advance their prestige and not advance the prestige of any other player and the particular demigod that they are backing or advocating for. And at lower counts, it's much more chess-like, and at higher player counts with the team-based play,
like the teams.
You have someone at the table that is on your team, you just don't know who, and so you're
sometimes
trying to...
you don't know who they are the entire game.
Yeah, and so sometimes you're like half the time you're trying to figure out who your teammate is to try and maybe covertly work together, but you're also still trying to, at the same time, not let people know what you are and figure out what they are. So it's a lot of fun. I think Ivy Studios, all 3 of their titles have made it in my top 100. Mythic Mischief, Veiled Fate, and
and
Veiled Fate.
Moonrakers.
I know the name. Just haven't mentioned it yet. So
You're about to. I just didn't give you enough time.
Yeah, you're right. So anyways, Veiled Fate, I love it. Number 14 for me.
Meg, you're 14?
My number 14 is one that got added in. So I didn't add too many in after I made this list, but this one I had to make room
massaging.
for. I made room for something I put at number 14. Do you think you know?
No.
Oh! Is it one of the ones that you just had to massage today?
Yeah. No. Maybe.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
Today's been a long day.
I think I might have done it yesterday.
It was Root and another one.
Root never made it in.
Gotcha. I don't know what it is.
I wrote it down, never made it in.
Oh.
It was one that you said you thought I would like or that you think I like, and I kind of like. I was like, I didn't get to put it in my list, but I had already put it into my list.
What is it?
Final Girl. Final Girl by Van Ryder Games.
Nice.
I am having a delightful time playing that game. I'm someone that plays very thematically, and oh my goodness, when people start getting killed, I feel so responsible. I'm starting to get upset, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to save them. I'm guessing in real life,
when people start getting killed, you are responsible.
That's fair.
I know, like in real life, I don't know, I wouldn't mind.
Okay, that's good.
It is so much fun, and especially because I've been really loving solo games this year, it is a great solo puzzle. I think it's done very, very well. And as someone who does roll dice pretty well, I actually haven't rolled great in this game. There's a mechanic where you can roll a certain die that you have to... What?
So you and I are laughing at the fact you don't roll well in this game.
I don't. And I've lost. And so there's a mechanic that if you roll a certain side, you have to discard 2 cards? I think it's 2.
So. It's been a little bit since I've played.
And it is very punishing in that sense that so you're spending time to buy cards and to use cards. Mm-hmm. And with that, if you're using too many cards in a round, then you can't purchase cards for future rounds. And it's this very delicate balance of trying to figure out the puzzle without having the enemy overwhelm you. And it's a game that I've lost a lot. Well, not a lot. I've only played it a handful of times, but it's one that I lose, and I don't mind losing, and I even enjoy that the game did wreck me. It's very, very fun. So well done.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
My 14 is one that I know we all enjoy. I don't remember if it's been on any of our top 100s yet, or soon to be, but it's 14. Sorry. It's mind management. My number 14 is 14. 14 is Mind Management. Mind Management from Off the Page Games. Have either of you said it yet?
No. It's not on my list was my collection, that's why, so that was part of it.
Gotcha. Mind Management from Off the Page Games is fantastic. You mentioned Beast. I think Beast is amazing. I think Beast is the only thing really competing for, the space that Mind Management is in terms of how good it is. I don't know which one will win. I need to play the final version of Beast. That's a different conversation. But for right now, Mind Management is just amazing at what it does. The hidden movement of it is...
You're so good at it, though.
It's so rewarding. Devon
but you're so good at it.
Crazy the other day.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the other day. Whenever you're here.
The other day.
I do enjoy the puzzle. I do enjoy the puzzle very much. The problem is Devon screwed with my mind because he knew exactly what I think. He's like, I know he's going to think that he thinks next. He's not going to think that. You played the game. You played the outfoxing game a little better. It is really,
it's
really
Monks,
good.
Dogs, and Coffee. It's Monks, Dogs, and Coffee.
Monks, Dogs, and Coffee.
Monks, Dogs, and Coffee.
It also has a good solo. If you don't mind downloading
we played with Akiva that time.
Yeah.
Because me, you, and Akiva were doing songs.
And
Wow, you remember everything.
Yeah.
There's also a great solo mode if you want to download the app to mimic the hidden AI, so you can walk around there. It's fun. It's good for practicing your skills, or it's good for if you don't have enough time to play it otherwise, enough people to play it with otherwise. I love Mind Management. I think it's fantastic. It is currently the best hidden movement game I own or played or anything.
Very fun.
Nice. That was 14 for you?
We're up to our 13s.
What's your number 13?
My number 13 is a game that all of y'all rank higher than me.
Is it 13?
Rank higher?
Yes. Both of you are going to have this higher than I do.
Dune
Imperium.
Dune.
Dune Imperium is my number 13. I'm questioning whether it's in both of your top 10s. I don't know. We'll find out shortly. But it's definitely there somewhere. Dune Imperium is absolutely fantastic. It is worker placement deck building with a degree of conflict, which is one of the reasons that I think the two of you like it more than the other.
We hate people.
But I like the...
Kill them.
It's to me, Dune Imperium was always a good game. But last year, do you know what Dune Imperium was to me last year?
You got Spice?
It was lower,
wasn't
it?
It was like 80.
Yeah.
Which is, again, still good. Still a good game. Chill, still a good game.
But it jumped up to 13.
And the expansion absolutely did. To be clear, the
Rise of X.
Rise of X. I haven't played Immortality yet.
Yeah.
After this.
You beat me. You beat me to it.
Basically,
Did you bring them cards?
Actually, no, I didn't. But Immortality, it was the Rise of X to me, elevated the Dune experience. It was already a great game, and it really took it to the next level in a game that I thought was excellent, but also a little static in the way the markets moved. Mm-hmm. And to me, Rise of X changed that staticness. It really brought out the best of Dune in a way that it took it from a great game to one of the best games in my collection, a game I'm incredibly passionate about, to always play, to always enjoy. The last time I played it, I went with a new strategy. Like, I didn't go into a single faction.
Yeah.
I didn't go.
Yeah.
I played with you and Akiva, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get a single faction
you
favor.
played
and I
since
won.
we
it's
played.
recorded.
Yeah. It's a recorded
Nice.
gameplay on the channel, but I didn't
Nice.
go into a single faction at all.
And you still won.
And I won.
Nice.
But like, not a single, not a point. I didn't get a favor once.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
But you didn't even go to the locations?
No. Not once. I got it. One of the Rise of X cards gave me like I think like 2 points or something like that, or a point. It gave me a point for every faction I don't have any favor in. Mm-hmm. And I played into that with a bunch of other things I had going for me to really try to.
An intrigue card gave you an end game.
No, one of the Rise of X bonus tiles, I think.
Yeah, one of those green tiles.
I think, if I recall correctly.
It was one of the green.
So
tiles.
you could at least go
other places, just not the 4 factions. Wow. So not once in the game did I go to any of the 4 factions at all.
You did a lot of battling.
Oh, I did a lot of things. It was, but I
That's
love that
so
they can
cool.
do that.
The fact that it can subvert what seemed to be one of the primary ways of playing is wow. That's so cool.
The comment section was full of people who are like, "Oh, you're playing suboptimally if you do that." I'm like, "I won. Go jump." We're all playing suboptimally then. I don't care.
Did you say go jump?
No, I
go jump in a lake.
What am I supposed to say? I don't want to be.
Alex would be the best negotiator in the world. You know what?
Go jump.
If you're not playing Dune the way I go, jump. Do it. I bet you won't. But
that's my number 13. Dune
right.
Imperium, absolutely fantastic.
My number 13 is Dune War for Arrakis.
It's.
I told you this is when I would start to upset him.
No, he did it because he's doing it too much. Now he's doing like 2 in a row.
Too much.
It's a prototype.
Too much.
It's a prototype. Never even played the physical version of it.
I don't care.
I know.
It's so good.
It's a good game.
I've played a game that gives me the feeling of War of the Ring twice or 2.5 times, and every time it's been 2 hours or less, which is
really solid.
Crazy. I love 2-player experiences. Games like Star Wars Rebellion are really high up there for me, and I love anything where you have an asymmetric system where no matter, like, if one seems like the oppressive faction and one seems like the rebellious faction, no matter what, they each have drastically different play styles that each person is scared of the other. Like, I like playing a strategy game where I'm terrified of what they could do while also marshalling a plan that I feel like is impervious to them messing with. It feels
You're so fun.
So good. It feels so good, and I love doing that in War for Arrakis is the only game. So in March of 2022, I was like, I am not going to buy a new game.
You owe me a 16-hour live stream.
I do. I'm aware of it.
Is that what it was?
So since March, I said I'm not going to buy any new games. The only thing I will do is buy expansions to games and
accept games.
and get deluxe games. Well, yes, but I'm personally going to try not to buy any games with out of funding or anything like that out of my own pocket, just to deal with the stuff I'm going to be getting for content and also play the games that I have. And Dune War for Arrakis is the one exception.
On video, I was like, and what if you do? And what if you do? I baited him out.
Yeah. So I have to do a 16-hour live stream, which I may have to break up into 2 8s just for the sake of my wife not killing me.
Well, you should have said that when you made the deal.
That's what I feel.
Fine, I can do it. You gonna come help babysit? You will.
Yes.
No, you will. But so sometime before March of 2023, I need to do a 16-hour live stream. But Dune is the one time that I broke my promise because I was like, I can't not buy this game.
Well, we'll make this deal if we have to babysit. Let's push it to the summer, and we will go swimming in the pool, and then you can live stream as long as you want.
Deal. Danny will be ecstatic.
So will I.
So yeah, Dune War for Arrakis. I told you this is when I was gonna start annoying him.
I don't. It's just 2 in a row.
Yeah.
2 points in a row.
Bro.
spacing it out. Like, okay, like I think Meg had 2 in her top 100 so far.
It wasn't 2 in a row. It was 2 in one video.
Okay, whatever. It's close enough. It was 2 very close.
Technically, so that was 13,
yeah.
and Vampires was 16. So there were 2 in between those.
It's fine. 13. You're 13? You 13?
My number 13 is a game that I am extremely proud of that I showed to you, Alex. I think, Devon, I'm not even sure. I think you've... Oh, no. I do know, but I don't know how much you love it. But I know we've shown it to you as well. But I'm so proud that I introduced the game to you and you really loved it.
I got nothing.
I Love Cats Explore and Draw.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, that one's
Did you
good.
love it?
I really liked that.
I was going to say, I remember playing it at your house, but I couldn't remember what you said.
I had no interest in Isle of Cats. And then obviously I'm not going to turn down playing a game, especially with you guys. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'll try this out. And we finished. I was like, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was in my top 100.
Yeah, fantastic game that I played it, I want to say March this past year, and I've been playing it so much since then. Yeah. It is a flip and write where it's, if you know regular Isle of Cats, it's like that, but better, where you have a ship and you are choosing different rows of cats where you have to select them and then you fill them all out in your map and you're scoring for connecting colors and then different objectives that you can get. And, it is just such a good time. And I've said this a few times, and I forgot to say it when I mentioned Rolling Realms. Shout out to affordable games that deliver such a fun experience. This one I think is like maybe $20 on Miniature Market. It is such a good time that you can pick up and play over and over again. It's also something that I've played over Discord, where if everyone has their own player boards, you can just take a picture of the market board for each round and send the picture in Discord, and it's very, very easy to play with people remotely. It's such a good time.
Nice.
Such a good time. And I will say, before I let you guys go next, it comes with colored dry erase markers for each of the colored cats. Which, again, affordability for such a cheap game to have markers for every player in every color, it makes it so much easier and more accessible to play. Yeah. What a great time. Thank you, Frank West. You've changed my life.
Have you done 13 yet?
I've done 13.
You have?
12. I could do 12.
Oh, nice, do 12.
My 12 is one that Meg has already said and Devon has not yet said.
Oathsworn?
Oathsworn. It's a good clue, right? It's pretty obvious. Like, wasn't I guaranteeing? Oathsworn is my number 12. Close. Oh no, you don't! No! I can rearrange it! I can rearrange it! No!
So close.
The worst part is I debated rearranging it.
You already said it.
It's too late now. We can't have it.
I put it just on the precipice.
Oathsworn to me is so good, and it does have that newness bias that it's like I wonder.
That's a game I'm not worried about the newness bias.
I'm not worried about it being like, okay, is in the top 40 games. I'm not worried about that, but like, is it going to be in the top 20 next year? Or is it going to be in the top 40 next year? That I don't know. Oathsworn is amazing. Oathsworn is from Shadowborn Games, and it gives you that campaign experience. It gives you that story. It gives you that just everything it does so well in a 20-episode arc that you go through adventure to adventure with completely like hidden boxes and completely different enemy bosses that you're fighting against. This is not like oh hey, here's an enemies. Okay, great. Now you know the enemies. You're gonna see them 17 times. No, every encounter is different. Everything you do is so unique in terms of what you're actually engaging with. As it gives you a very solid combat system in the game, as well as just the uniqueness in the characters. And this is actually when I got pushed back in our video that we did at one point, the Gloomhaven versus Alice one, where some people are like, oh, the characters aren't really that diverse, and maybe the ones that I played certainly I felt diverse. And I think I actually named like 3 specific characters that are very similar, and I was like, well, I've played one of those 3, so that makes sense. Yeah. But from what I've played and what I've seen played, I've loved them. And of course the system where you can play as a full character or as a kind of like a companion character works really well in the sense that
brilliant design.
I want at least one main character in the game, at least one. But I would happily solo that game playing 3 companions and a main character. Happily do it. I think the companions still feel rewarding. They feel very fun to actually control, to nicely augment what you're doing in the game while feeling nicely powered up. It's just a good game. I love Oathsworn. It's my number 12.
Yeah. I forgot about the hidden envelopes and boxes. That is done really well. Yeah.
What's your 12?
My number 12. Oh my gosh, my number 12 is a game that I fell in love with. It's The Adventures of Robin Hood.
This is Cosmos, right?
Yes. It took me by surprise. I think I rank it higher in my heart than maybe like for how good of a game it is. It's one that like I fell in love with and I treasure, and if it's something that you're into, you're gonna love it. But I think like You don't even have it.
No, I still have it. I actually still have it. I kept it around.
No, I meant in your...
Oh, not my top 100. No. I like it a lot. I enjoy the story mode. I found the mechanics to be very light.
So the game it's a either 6 or 8 panel board, and it has like almost advent calendar.
I want to say 8. It's big.
Yeah, I think it may be 8.
Yeah.
It has almost advent calendar style tiles in it, where there are all these tiles pre-set up when you start the game, and different things will tell you to flip stuff over, and it surprises that things are happening, and then even toward the end of the game, it kind of flips it on its head and has them do like other surprise things. But the true treasure for it for me is that it's those 8 boards that they piece together instead of fold out,
I think it's 6
and
now.
there's a...
Now I'm thinking through it, because now really it's a puzzle, and I think it's puzzle pieces. I think it's 6 now, in hindsight, but they're large pieces.
And it comes with that. It comes with a cloth bag with tokens in it, and it comes with a novel, which is your rule book. It's a leather, maybe not leather, but like a hard book novel. And that is it. That's all the components of it. And it is such a delight that as you're reading the book, it's almost like Choose Your Own Adventure, where it's like, if this happens, go to this page. And if you want to do this, go to that page. And you're flipping through an actual novel book, and you're just using these very simple wooden components for all the different things. And to take that and make such an engaging game that is like a pure delight the entire time.
They did a fantastic job. It's really, and it's a game that made me feel.
Yes.
There were points in the game where things happened where I was like, I can't do this. I know it's the right thing to do, but I can't do this. I'm just not going to do this. I refuse to engage in this kind of interaction with these fictional human beings.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really, really well done.
Yeah. That was your number
12. And my number 12, I'm gonna swing from possible elation and excitement on Alex's, what would have been our second direct crossover, and move all the way the pendulum to the other side to abject terror. And for the second time in a row, number 12 for me is Six Siege, the board game.
At least I got it first.
Yep, you did get it. I love this game. So going back to your conversation about Stardew Valley, I have logged over 700 hours or more into Rainbow Six Siege. It is, to me, one of the best shooters in like modern video game history. It's like, absolutely stayed the course over the time. It kind of grew and just added more and more operators and stuff. And like the strategy involved with that game was beautiful. And we talked about it with Assassin's Creed, and then also with, can't remember what the other IP was, but we were talking about IPs where the board game stays very true to what the video game is. We talked about Bloodborne, and we talked about Assassin's Creed. And there was one that you were talking about that...
I said that was Stardew.
It was one that you thought was like okay in terms of the IP. But anyways, I think they did an amazing job in translating how tactical the video game feels into the board game. It is an insane 2-player experience, and I've only played with the physical prototype. I've seen that on TTS as well, and yeah, I have a difference of opinion with Alex. I know he has some hard rules in terms of like what he wants to put on lists and what is valid, and because it's not here.
I will express my personal frustration, but I made it very clear, you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're a top 100.
Yeah. I know, but...
I'm just thinking of myself as the commenter down below that's like, God, Devin, why is a game that doesn't exist in the top 100? You can do it. I'm just, God, Devin.
God, Devin.
Because to me, whether a game is in a final state or a finished state, a game, at the end of the day, is a set of rules that you sit down to play with and enjoy the experience. And the fact that it's how widely available it is or how finished the production is relatively immaterial to me. It's what like my overall experience with it has been. And just like my love for the video game translating to my love for the board game, Six Siege is the only Kickstarter I think I ever remember where I was like, I do not care about the price. I'm going all in. I'm getting absolutely everything possible.
Take my money.
And, I'm hopeful that Mythic can carry it through.
And to be fair to defend Devin, I don't know how many titles that we've mentioned in this top 100 that are out of print or not accessible to get anymore.
Yeah.
But that is definitely some of my list.
That's a fair point. I don't like that. Because I would be like, God, Devin, you're doing a top 100. I can't even buy it. What's the point of me even knowing it? Yeah, I guess that out of print point applies too.
Yeah.
But I'm going to snake draft from 12 into 11 and give just on the brink of my top 10.
So gross.
And almost... I should have just manually massaged it, but I didn't want to do it just to cheat.
Yeah.
Was a very near direct ranking crossover with Alex, and it is Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. I adore this game. I love this game so much that for the first time ever, I commissioned someone to do the minis for this. So Jules Watson from the Board Game Barbecue community, shout out to you. We are in the process of, I've boxed mine up, he's boxed his up, and we're about to transfer the minis from my copy to his copy, and he has done a phenomenal job. I can't wait to show him off. And I love this game. I love this game, and I haven't even experienced the narrative to the full. I've just done the instant action mode. I haven't even been able to do the full narrative with like the voiceover and all that stuff like that, voice narration. So
I'm sorry, there's voice narration. We'll use it next time.
Have you watched Game of Thrones?
Alex loves reading things.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
So Commander Mormont of the Night's Watch.
James Cosmos.
Yeah.
James Cosmo, he did the narration.
Wow.
Yeah, so they got him to do the narration for the game.
And I've been listening to this.
So my number 11 is Oathsworn. I think it is such a good game. I think very likely...
I did give you the choice. I actually gave you the choice. 100% I did. I gave you a choice. You like it? You go read.
Did you tell me who it was?
No.
Okay.
I said, you want the app or you want me?
Yeah, all you said was the app.
Well, if I gave you the
You
other
really
choice.
didn't sell it well. So I am pretty certain that once I get much further into the story that this will be a top 10 game for me. I just put it on the very brink because I've only done a couple of the scenarios or a couple of the encounters.
I think it goes up.
Have you been playing solo?
I played solo.
So are you doing what Alex said? Are you
I
playing
did
one
2
main?
full characters and 2 companions, but I also only did that because of the space that I had. If I had the space for it, I would probably love to do 4 full characters because there are the characters. You do lose a couple things with the companions, like their base trait that they get on their board is gone if they're a companion and stuff like that. But I did play some full characters and some companions, which I think is a very viable and probably mostly preferred by most soloers in terms of just logistics. But Oathsworn is so good. There's so many design elements of Oathsworn that I'm like, this is brilliant. This is so well done. And I think it'll probably be a top 10 game for me. That's my 11.
Maggie, number 11.
My number 11, which is the last one of the video,
Yep.
is a fun deck building game that we all know and love, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I don't have...
I may not have said anything about it yet.
Okay.
What?
Top 10.
It could be 11.
Maybe. Who knows?
I
Wait,
have
no,
no
we've
idea.
already... why did I say the last one of the video,
If you guys have a direct crossover, that would be cool.
I said the last one of the video. You didn't correct me.
I didn't correct you. I didn't hear that.
Oh.
I missed that part.
I think we interpreted your last one of the video.
It's my last one of the video.
Lost
Ruins of Arnak. It is a delightful time. I think that the difference, we've said this quite a few times in other videos, but between Dune and Arnak, I feel that Arnak is more worker placement with deck building, and Dune is deck building with worker placement. And that's where it makes the difference for me, is that I really do love deck building. So Arnak, that's why it lands where it lands for me. Spoiler alert for when we get to the top 10.
I can't imagine what's happening next.
But yeah, I absolutely love it. I love the research track where you have to do certain things before the others. You have to do the magnifying glass before the book because you have to discover it before you can record it. And yeah, I really enjoy that puzzle of it, and I enjoy just trying to use the different resources and trade things out for other things when you can, and using your helper people. It's a great time.
I just realized that
Great
in
theme.
like the last batch of games we've played over the last couple months, you and I have either been 1 point away from each other or tied in
A lot.
in quite a lot of games.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until I was like, oh, Arnak was a tiebreaker.
Earlier, like 3 videos ago, Devon was like, yeah, I'm just not good at games. Like, well, so neither is Alex. We're both bad.
What's your number 11?
My number 11 is not Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Oh! What would have been cool is if it was, and then I had mine at 12, and we had 2 direct ones. That would have been cool.
At this point, I'm beginning to wonder if we will have 2 direct crossovers in the last 10, because it's getting harder. Maybe, I guess 2, but we'll see. We'll see. In any case, my number 11 is definitely not a direct crossover, obviously, but it's Vindication.
Oh,
Vindication,
that is we have had that.
Vindication was my number 10 last year. It's my number 11 this year. It got bumped down 1 spot. It's out of the top 10. It's utter garbage, but it's still amazing. It's still incredible.
It's so good.
So many good games have been around. Again, when we'll get to the top 10 soon, we'll talk about that shortly. But my top 10 had the most manual massaging from the output that I got from
Like me. Got it. We're gonna need a 4Game Code t-shirt now.
From the output I got from Pub Meeple, the most rearranging I did was my top 10. Like, most of them I kind of stuck with what it was. A few I adjusted here and there. But the top 10, I was like, no. Like, this bouncing back and forth because of how amazing they are. And that goes out to, like, the top 12 or 13. Like, those top 13, I could not get them settled. Even where we are right now, I think my top... The last few here have been rearranged even today, like trying to like figure out where I want them.
Wow.
But once I say that on camera, it's stuck on camera. It's done. But yeah, Vindication bumped down from number 10 to my number 11. I love the puzzle. I love the patterns. I love the fact that as you play the game, everything's there, and you just have to figure out the optimal way. Am I going to go ahead and upgrade my mount to go ahead and go here and get those monsters? Am I going to go ahead and combine these to get these relics? What about these traits over here? Do I want to just get a bunch of companions because I currently have control of the inns? Do I want to knock out control from your things? Am I trying to ascend into, like, whatever the ascend thing is called? I've been becoming vindicated. There's so many different pathways of what you're trying to do and trying to find the unique puzzle. You mentioned that last game that you and I had where, like, I had all these in-game points happening, and then end-game you just kept catching up, and I'm like, I still got it, but also those secret quests, and you, like, pulled ahead. It is such an enjoyable game. I love Vindication. I am sad that I got bumped out of the top 10. There's only 10 in the top 10. There's only so much I can do. Yeah. Vindication is absolutely amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's my number 11.
I'm sure the more I play it, that will also jump up on my list.
I like the idea of a shirt where it's just like this, but then it's board games underneath it. It's just manual massaging.
A truly great way to end this video.
No, what it should be is someone like holding a rule book over their face because it's like a manual. Yeah. And then it says manual massaging across the rule book.
That's not bad.
In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Meg.
I'm Devon.
And stay tuned for our top 10.
It's on the way.
See you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.